So, welcome to another video here at Back to Classics, and today is all about the Magni Moto Guzzi project we are working on. So here we have the Magni ball door frame, now painted in red, as you can see. This is the Fiat color that Magni always used on their frames on the MV Agustas and the Moto Guzzis back in the day. So this is all period correct for Magni as well as in the 1970s on many Fiat models. So anyway, the frame is now done. Now we're not quite there with the rest of the bodywork, it's still at the paint shop. So it means we're not quite there to reveal the colors. That has to wait for the next episode of this build, so be sure to follow that. But more on the frame, you saw the mock build, so all the brackets that are on the frame are actually going to be used. Everything has its place, has a meaning towards the end of this build. And then of course we have the parallelogram rear swing arm system, specially designed by Magni, that we're also going to fit, now already done painting as well. So that's up. First, let's try to mate this frame to this beautiful engine and bolt it all together. So, time to mate the frame to the engine on this Moto Guzzi project. Prepared the frame already, so the bearings are there. All the threads have been cleaned out after painting, so that's all good to go. So let's, without further ado, get this up there. So now we can tighten the bolts. So the Magni specific parallelogrammo rear swing arm. This whole setup, it was meant to combat the reaction forces that are known on drive shaft driven motorcycles. The jacking up, you suddenly apply the power, that is a big issue on these bikes, and in order to minimize that, Magni came up with this parallelogrammo design. So specific for Magni, like I said, I already fitted the bearings in place, so now it's time to assemble this whole lot. And of course that also means that the rear differential also needs to be put in place, and the drive shaft itself, of course. So let's get some grease, and then we can start with the lower arm. It's always the same. So, good to see the workings of the parallelogrammo swing arm. That's all done and set up now. So that's the frame and the engine now mated, along with the rear swing arm, the parallelogrammo swing arm all set up. And I also preliminary fitted the front fork, more on that later. And we also got the wheels back from lacing. So that's all done very nicely, and these are now awaiting a set of new tires. So that's up probably for the next episode before we have that all covered and done and put this bike back on its wheels. But more on the front fork now. We have a slight issue with the steering head and the steering stem, in fact, being a little too long. As you can see here, there's a little room to play with. Now that is now fitted with a washer, but of course we also need to make a cover to protect that upper bearing. So that is a job that needs to be done on the lathe to shorten that shaft a little bit and make that nicer. So I disassembled the front fork again, and now I made a top cover for the headstock where the bearing is located. Actually, this is a Ducati part, so that is a good use for a Ducati part on this Moto Guzzi, but it is serving its purpose well, holding out the dirt from that bearing. And then we have the steering pin that I pressed out of the lower triple clamp, and this needs to be shortened just a few millimeters in order to get this the way it should be. So let's head over to the lathe and do that little job. So I cut off 6 millimeters of that, and now it's time to make a bevel side to that. Again, let's use some cut oil. As every man in Holland knows, you don't bother with the dry cut. So let's get this on, change the RPM a little bit to 600. More like it. Now let's try that nut on there. See if that catches the thread. It should. Yes, it does. Beautiful. Okay. So now we can press this back into the lower triple clamp and we can put things back together. Over to the press to fit back the pin, steering pin to the lower triple clamp. Now let's use some grease. I always like to use this modification BR2. This is a grease that can handle high loads, especially for pressing parts. That is always a good idea. Now there is always a hole inside these steering pins, as you can see here. That is for the steering lock, which this bike does not have, so there's no need to focus our attention on the orientation of that hole. But here you can see this is a provision for a steering damper. That needs to be straight, of course, in line with the rest of the lower triple clamp. So this is more or less the position it should go in. Like so. Now let's fit another piece of tooling in here. I think that'll work. Right, so now we can put the bearing back in place. Again, let's use some grease. Just a few mild taps will do, I guess. There we go. That's ready for fitment on the bike. Again, all greased up here. Now we need the number 32 spanner. Okay, now the steering stop, that's in their preliminary position is what we need, but we need to make the bushes to make the final steering angle adjustment. But we can only do that when the fuel tank is back and the clip-ons are on there, so we know exactly what maximum angle we want on this steering. For now it's, I believe, 30 degrees either side. That can be limited a little bit further. But this now means that we can tighten this nut and give the bearings a little bit preload. Not too much, of course. That's a bit too much, I believe. Very nice. And then we can fit the upper triple clamp with the special Ceriani nut. Let's fit the fork leg back in place. Now, the final job for the front fork is to fill it with fork oil, and therefore we like to use this Moto fork oil, 20 weight. It's a rather heavy oil for these old style front forks, much better than these very thin oils that are used today in modern suspension. It's not really meant to be running with that very thin oil. Now, in this instance, I've chosen to set it at preliminary. We have to see, of course, with test riding what will happen, but I've chosen to preliminary set it to 120 millimeters of air chamber above the front fork hydraulic rod without the springs. So what I did, I removed the springs, put it in the upright position, like so. And then I have a dipstick here with measurements, and then we can make sure that the oil in there is enough. So I just add a little bit, pour it into this can, and then we can add that to the front fork. First about 100, and then let's make a reading. There we go, it's now about 90 millimeters from the bottom. But I need to measure from the front 120 millimeters of air chamber, which means that I need to go to 210. So a lot more is needed. We are nearly 100. Let's go to 150. That is at 15. That's 180 millimeters of air chamber, so a little bit more. Let's add another 25. So that's 175 now added. We're getting close now. It's 140 millimeters of air chamber, so a little bit more. 130, so a little bit more. Yep, we're there. Get the dipstick out and then we can finalize the front fork. Because now we can add the spring. And then there's this washer and this bush as a pre-tensioner for the spring. And now we can add the top nut. Yeah, apparently these are 28 millimeter size, for which I don't have a socket nor a spanner. So we'll have to use this precision tool to get the job done. There we go. And now the other side, exactly the same. So I guess the Magni project is coming along nicely. We have the frame all sorted, swing arm, suspension units, etc. all done, so we can move forward. Now the color of the frame is no longer a secret. As you can see, it is in Fiat 130 red, used by Magni to this very day, also on the earlier races of the 1970s. So a throwback to that. But the rest of the bodywork still at the paint shop, so we have to make a big reveal in a later video about the color we've chosen and the way we are moving forward with this project. So be sure to follow that, especially to the end when we take this bike out on the road where it belongs. For now, I guess the next big job on this project is going to be the electrics. We have a more modern approach on this build, as we're going to base the electrics around a Mo unit built by Moto Guzzi. So that's a subject of the next video in this series, when we show how modern electronics can improve on classic motorcycles as well. So be sure to subscribe to this channel so you get a notification whenever we have a new video out. For now, we thank you very much for watching. Toedeledokie, see you next time.